yellow, purple, orange, blue. Orange, you glad I didn't say... What was that thing growing up? People used to always say that. I don't know. It's a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I think I've now said that twice on this show. Super proud of myself for that. What's up, everyone? Hope you're doing awesome. It is a Thursday edition of Zack Miller Live, episode 39 of the self-proclaimed greatest name show of all time. Thanks for participating, joining, listening, viewing, getting exciting, engaging about this wonderful thing that we're doing today. And we're going to talk about excuses. Excuses, as you can see in the title, are cancer. Now, unfortunately, I have been someone who would use an excuse as to why something hasn't happened, why I didn't accomplish something. But I think it takes a lot of self-recognition to not create a lot of excuses. Tim Ryan is in the house. What's up, buddy? And I think that we can complain about stuff. We can find reasons why something didn't happen. But ultimately, I don't think it helps. Like, ultimately, the majority of the time, we're the reason why something didn't happen. Or we blame someone else. And we're like, oh, this didn't happen because of this. It's just not good for your mojo. It's not good for your life. It's not good for you to continue on a path where you're just finding an excuse for everything. And I think all too often we are blaming others for things that really we can control, or we get so negative about certain things, why someone's more successful than us, or why someone else is getting the recognition that we are. And again, I've done this myself. Not a lot recently, because I've really tried to make an attempt to not be that way. But I have found now that, and I'm not saying like for the last day I've been doing this, I'd say for months now, I've stopped making excuses, and I've recognized that they're cancer, right? It's something that literally will take over our lives, and we'll say, you know what, I can't do this, or this isn't happening because so-and-so is doing something better, right? And I'm fairly certain that many of you probably do the same thing. And honestly, we control everything that we want to. And so if we're not, I've been using this line a lot, like if you're going to bed wondering if you gave it your all that day, you probably didn't. If you're questioning that, you're probably, you probably haven't done everything that you need to. And I'm not saying you need to go 24/7, you need to go balls to the wall. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you get closer to your goal each and every day. What's up, Steven? What is up, Karen, Tim? Hope y'all are doing well. Thanks for being with me today. Feel free to ask any questions that you may have here on Zack Miller Live, episode 39. So, I again have this list of all of these shows, topics that I want to do, and I have this one. It says, excuses are cancer. Blaming others is cancer. And I don't know when I'm going to do these talks, right? They're not dated. I just have a list of all these topics that I want. If you guys have topics, let me know. There are questions that people ask me. They're talking about experiences that I had. So I just recorded an interview for the 1004 show. It'll run on May 25th. So about 6 weeks from now. Maybe more than that. And it's with this 18-year-old high school student in California. And we did it at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So he did the interview at 7 a.m. his time. And it was really interesting. And so I can't remember exactly where I met him, but I either read an article about him, and he had won, I think, some competition at a hackathon, which a hackathon is an event where you typically are trying to build something really quick to see if it can if you can kind of validate it or prototype it and make it happen. And he created this business called Solar IoT. And it was interesting because as I'm talking to him, he's now a senior. He was class president 3 times, his freshman through junior year. His senior year, he retired basically and decided not to do it again. But here it is, this 18-year-old kid. And I say kid because he is a kid. And he is basically like not afraid to do things that many of us are afraid of. He's not creating excuses. And so as I'm talking to him, I'm like, oh, this is going to be the day that I talk about excuses. And so he was a freshman, and he was playing a lot of games or being on his iPhone. He was like, oh, I wonder how I can make an iPhone app myself, and decided to do it. And so he took a course on Udemy, Udemy, I guess, .com is the website. And he basically taught himself how to code an iOS app. And he built two of these games, and he was like, they're terrible, they're ugly, they didn't work, whatever. But he did it. He took responsibility for it. And here it is, this 18-year-old kid, probably 14 or 15 at the time, is doing better than many of us, right? Is not allowing society to get to us, not allowing doubt to get to us, not using excuses. And so not only has he gone through and created and taught himself how to create apps at a young age, he also was class president, very ambitious, super inspiring kid. The fact that he did an interview at 7 a.m. in the morning, that, I mean, in itself is pretty interesting. I mean, just think about this, right? We are constantly putting excuses out there. Oh, I can't do this, or blaming someone. And here's this kid. He's like, we ended it. He's like, I got to go to high school, or I got to go to school. I mean, it's ridiculous. He got into an accelerator, is raising money. It's really, really interesting stuff. Talked about how to network, and really what leadership is to him. So you guys be checking out that May 25th. It was a pretty cool episode. But it just got me to thinking, hey, here's this kid, super young, and he's not afraid. And he's not making excuses. He's not sitting there going, well, I can't do this because I'm young. And I asked him that question. He goes, yeah, well, some people think, I'm too young, whatever, but, I just try and show them. I try and prove them wrong. I try to impress them. And I think that's important. Actually, here's an interesting story. So, I gave a talk 2 days ago, and it was an hour and a half away, and the individual asked me to come talk, and it was someone that I've respected for, several years, but he told me a story. He brought me into his office, and I talked to probably 30 or 40 people, and it was a great talk. But beforehand, he comes up to me and goes, Zach, I need to tell you something. And I'm like, okay, like, what's up, man? And he's 73 years old, this guy is, and he works for, and he told the crowd this story, so I feel like I'm allowed to tell this. But he is 73, and he runs the Eastern Shore of Virginia Small Business Development Center. And his name's George Bryan. And he's a really nice guy. If you guys know him, give him a shout. Say hello. And he came up to me and he goes, Zach, I remember the first time I met you. I was like, who the hell is this kid? And what the heck does he know? How does he know anything? Like, how am I going to learn from this kid? Because, of course, I'm sitting there wearing basically jeans and a t-shirt. He's like, this guy just doesn't fit the mold. Like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's see what happens. So Karen knows him. George is great. And so he comes up and he's basically saying, like, I thought you were an idiot and I didn't give you a chance. But over the years, I've gotten to know you and I've recognized that you actually know what you're talking about. And that made me think and sit there, and I was like, yeah, you can't judge a book by its cover. And I think that's so true. And so, here's this guy who years now have gone by, and he basically was like, at first, like, I don't want to listen to this kid. But gave me a little bit of a grain of salt. I think that's what you say. And I've now taught an old dog new tricks. And so what's interesting is at this event, he comes up to me afterwards, and he says, so he as he's telling me this story, he says, you're just really in tune to what you're doing. Like, you know who your customers are. You're you're good at what you do, and so I appreciate that. And he basically is like, I'm sorry that I thought you were an idiot. I'm like, whatever, man, it's fine. Like, it doesn't hurt my feelings, right? But he could have made these excuses and been complaining about it, but instead gave me a little bit of an opportunity and listened, and now I've been able to help him. And so afterwards, he's like, we do these events occasionally, all the time, whatever. And usually I sit in on them for about 5 minutes. But you had me glued to your conversation. And I was like, love it. And so the moral of the story is give people an opportunity. Don't judge a book by its cover. And you can teach old dogs new tricks. And so I appreciate you, George Bryan. I appreciate that you gave me an opportunity, because I think that's what so many people need to do, right? If you're worried that someone isn't going to, you cannot make excuses, right? We are an excuse society, and that's BS. What we need to do is we need to stop judging a book by its cover, and let people do what they're good at. And in the same frame, let's not make excuses for ourselves. Let's own what we do. And let's make things happen. Because at the end of the day, if you want an action to happen, you have to create that action. And all too often, I remember there's a story, it was probably, 6 years ago. I just moved into my downtown office, and everyone was like, you need to meet this guy, Phil Decker. He owns this restaurant called D-Egg. And I would go to this restaurant 3 times a week. It was like a breakfast joint, so it was like $3 or $4 a day, so it wasn't a crap ton of money. And I was having breakfast there, and it was cool, and I really wanted to meet Phil. But I didn't go up to him, I didn't say hi to him, but he was the reason I was there, basically. And what I think is important to know is that you can be in the right place and still not be seen. So here I am in this room, his restaurant, and I basically want to meet him. But I was, for whatever reason, too shy to go up to him and be like, yo, what's up, I'm Zach. Then one day, like 4 months later, I decided I'm going to stop going. And then one time I just happened to go again. And Phil comes up to me and he goes, you're that guy in the newspaper. And I was like, yay! I'm the guy in the newspaper. And I finally met Phil. Right? Finally, he was like, hey man, how are you? And that's how the relationship basically started. But it was 4 months too late. Right? I should have just gone up to him that first day. And so we can be in that room. I was making excuses like, I don't know why the guy just come up to me. He just didn't, for whatever reason. Right? Not that he didn't want to. But Phil and I are now really good friends now. And I really appreciate him. But the moral of that story is, if you want an action to happen, you have to create that action. You can't just show up. You have to show up and then do that action too. Right? So I met Karen on Tuesday. I did that because she's sitting right in front of me, and I said, hello. Actually, I think George actually introduced me to her. But then I didn't just stop there. I continued to have conversations with her. These are the things that you have to do. Like, you can't just show up and think that it's going to work. You actually oftentimes have to do that uncomfortable thing by basically saying, hi, how are you? Saying hello goes a long way. It can be tough. But at the end of the day, you cannot make these excuses. Appreciate you guys and all of your time listening, consuming, watching, engaging, enjoying Zack Miller Live, episode 39. You know what tomorrow is? 5 Dice Friday, where I talk about the 5 hot topics on my mind. What am I going to talk about? I don't know. You'll have to stay tuned for the greatest edition of 5 Dice Friday ever. I'm calling it now. It's going to happen. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be great. That's just my guess. I have no idea if it will or not, but I hope it will, because I try and create material, content, experiences for you to just be like, ooh, that was amazing. If you guys are enjoying what you're watching, feel free to like it, ask me questions, subscribe wherever you may be. If you guys have guests that you want me to have on my show, topics, whatever, comments, just let me know. Hit me up in the DMs afterwards or on the comments. Yeah. Karen says, super motivational. Here to help. And I'm on a panel on Monday, so it's a good time. It's good timing. I'll remember to say hello to people. Thanks, Zach. Absolutely. You're welcome. Thank you for participating, being here. You know, it's hard to say hi. Like, we're there, like, oh, we don't know what to do. Like, you know, I don't think you have to go up to everyone, right? But try and meet at least one person. I try and get to places early, you know, understand the stage, whatever it might be. But, you know, ask the organizer, is there someone in this room that I definitely need to meet? You know, that could be a good way to do it, and have them introduce you. But saying hello can be a really good thing. It's how I met you. And let's be a little less afraid, people, and just say hello. Just go up to someone and be like, hi. It'll go a long way. Appreciate you guys being with me today. Zack Miller Live, episode 39 is in the books. I got to go do another talk in another city in just a little bit. See you guys soon. See you tomorrow, 5 Dice Friday. Enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day. Deuces.